When people picture depression, they imagine someone drained, sad, and barely holding on. But here's something almost nobody talks about. Buried inside that weight is a strange, almost unsettling clarity. If you've ever spoken to someone in depression, or lived it yourself, you might have noticed this. Beneath the heaviness is a mind that can suddenly become brutally logical, almost painfully precise. It seems contradictory. How can emotional suffering sharpen thinking? Yet, psychology and neuroscience reveal something fascinating. Depressed minds often perceive reality in a way most people never do. Let's explore why depression sometimes exposes life in a raw, unmistakably real way. Depressive realism. Seeing without the filter. One of psychology's most debated ideas is the depressive realism hypothesis, proposed in 1988. It suggests that people with mild to moderate depression sometimes see reality more accurately than those without it. In a famous experiment, participants judged how much control they had over a light turning on. Non-depressed people consistently overestimated their influence, convinced their presses mattered, even though the flashes were random. Depressed participants? They judged almost perfectly. No illusions, no imagined control. While results vary, the pattern is revealing. Most people lean on optimism, but depression strips away comforting distortions. The logic born from loss. Depression often springs from loss, love, opportunities, identity, or stability. When your world cracks, the mind scrambles to understand. Logic becomes a shield. Grief can distort memory and weaken focus, but underneath is a harsh sharpening. Without hope to fall back on, the mind reduces life to its raw framework. No fluff, no illusions, just the bare truth. This connects to analytical rumination, the idea that depression forces deep problem solving. With no emotional cushioning, the mind drills into causes and consequences relentlessly. People often notice things they never did before, or question beliefs they once accepted blindly. Inside the depressed brain, reason overtaking reward. Depression changes how the brain evaluates information. Dopamine's reward system quiets, making enjoyable activities feel hollow. With less emotional pull, the mind becomes harder to sway with comforting thoughts. Studies show increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the reasoning and planning hub. The result is a colder, more analytical mindset. Of course, it isn't empowering. The same clarity that cuts through illusion also exposes life's brutal parts. That's why those in depression often dive into philosophy, deep thinking, or uncomfortable self-examination. Stoicism, existentialism, and the depressed mindset. Throughout history, philosophical traditions have echoed the emotional landscape of depression. Stoics trained themselves to detach from emotion, accept hardship, and face reality without sugarcoating. Existentialists like Kierkegaard and Sartre explored despair, meaning, and existence's weight. For someone depressed, these ideas aren't just intellectual, they're familiar. When optimism fades, philosophies built on logic and meaning feel more sincere than shallow positivity. A Stoic reminder that suffering is human, or the existential belief that meaning is self-created, can feel grounding. The downside of hyper-logic. But clarity comes at a cost. Seeing every risk, every failure, every possible ending can freeze you in place. Understanding fragility makes action feel dangerous. This is the dark side of depressive clarity. Accurate, yet not always functional. Humans need both realism and hope. Without hope, logic becomes too heavy. Therapy often balances truth with possibility, not ignoring reality, but adding warmth back in. So, are depressed people more logical? In many ways, yes. Depression cuts through illusions, mutes positivity bias, and drives deep analysis. But logic alone can't sustain life. The challenge is blending clarity with enough hope to move forward. If depression ever made you feel like a detached observer of your own life, remember that cold logic is a survival instinct. It's your mind saying, if I can understand this, I can survive. Acknowledging this doesn't glorify pain. It honors clarity while creating space for healing. When has clarity come at a cost in your life? Share your experience below, and let's start a conversation that truly matters.